That was it.
What? Whoa.
That was it. Check her. Pull down her panties.
Oh, okay.
Pull down panties right now.
Her water.
That was the queef that let the water come out. That is what you know what they always say, breaking seal? This is what we're first to.
Okay. I'm heading, come with.
Why are you so panicked?
I forgot what the protocol was.
Are you not fake doctor?
No! I'm not a doctor in terms of getting a baby out of someone.
You're not doctor. You just play one on TV and put it in your resume.
Listen, no. No.
What, you're trying to tell me you can't cheat on your resume? There's a woman here who just queefed to let her water come out. You don't even know the sign. You're shocked. You're running around. I need somebody with stability in here.
That's why I'm going. Come with me to the hibernation chamber. We'll wake up Dr. Xavier.
Wake him up.
Oh my God. What's that foul? Ew, did somebody fucking queef? Ew!
You do not say that about this baby that will be born. It was the queef that let the water spill.
The queef that let the what? Who are you? Where am I? What is this futuristic chamber we're in?
You're in hyperbolic time chamber. We have, you are property of us right now. Check the branding on you. You've been branded.
Oh my God, molten hot lava was poured on me? That's kind of hot. You should.
Your nipples and your penis were erect the entire time.
Of course they were.
You were unconscious. We've never seen it before.
I'm activating my butt buzzer.
Activate your butt buzzer all you want, doctor, but you're really doctor, right?
Oh, absolutely. Summa cum laude, bitch. Does that mean anything where you're from?
It does. Where did you go?
American Samoa. University of American Samoa. It's an online program, but, we still go through clinicals.
You did clinicals, okay.
Who are you?
I'm premier Russian businessman.
Okay, and who's that lady?
Dr. Xavier, we don't have time for all this. You've been in a simulation. You're on a public TV show that everybody loves, kind of a Truman Show kind of thing. And on top of all of that, you're about to give birth to the second royal baby.
Yes, it's quite the honor.
The second royal baby? Get out of my way. I know Shelley-Ann's queef.
No, sit there 1 second and listen to me. There, under no circumstance do you give C-section. She will die before you C-section.
Oh, I would never, ever pass up on a chance to enter Shelley-Ann's vagina.
Okay, good.
I'm absolutely
So you're telling
going
me
to get
if
in
it
there.
comes down to it, you will put both hands in head. You will pull baby out.
Absolutely. I've done it before, many times. Usually on cows, usually on pigs, and
She's kind of
fetal
like
animals. But, I think I can... She queefed. Second queef.
Second queef.
Second queef. Get down! Get down!
They got us cornered! I'm doing an evasive maneuver!
Oh, no, you're not! Get back here! Fatality.
Oh my God, they are putting us through the ringer today. This is a hard game.
Well, you know what they say. You can't win against the guy who sits in the bottom left corner and just punches.
Absolutely not. You got to look at the menu. There is a pause screen for a reason. You go to the pause screen, you look up the moves, and you see what's going on.
Well,
and
here's
you come
something
in
I
and
need
do
to
it
tell
better.
you.
What?
Do you not know that you can go to the menu and look at the combos? Because you don't seem to be using them.
Oh,
Left,
hey,
right, square. That's how you shoot your little thing.
Do not blame me. Do not blame me.
Well, what tag team? And
They keep choosing Baraka. He's hard to do.
I know. When he does that thing where he gets down and just scissors you.
We did really good. It was a team of Goro and Baraka. We got Goro, but we can't get fucking Baraka.
And it makes no goddamn sense. How do we get the guy with 4 arms,
Right.
but not the guy? Well, he kind of has 4 arms. He has
Fucking
blades.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Oh.
They're picking another player. Oh God.
Round 1. Fight.
Whoa! I ain't gonna fight you, Scorpion!
Oh my God! How many times have we done this one?
Whoa! What? Fuck! Oh, you're hurting me!
Get over here!
Woo, Tristan! You are pulling me your chain from your rope! Oh.
Fatality. Flawless victory.
Good job, Tristan. You really beat the shit out of Sister Marble.
Yeah, well, you do the same level over and over again, trying to get to the fucking end guy. You get good at this
I
one.
know, you go up the tower, you go up the tower. You ever just feel like this is like repeating, like as if something is like stuck in a cycle?
No, what are you talking about?
like you said, I mean, how many times have we gone up and down this tower? Like, why hasn't it?
Well, we never
Changed.
won. We never won.
I know, but usually it's like, remember we did, I'm starting to keep a journal. And in this journal, I remember I wrote down we did game show.
What are you talking about? We've done Mortal Kombat our entire life.
That's what it sounds like. But it seems like it used to change, game shows. We went underwater. We did weird stuff. Like, it would change dating shows. And
Queef,
now...
are you feeling okay?
Oh, yeah, Oh, no. Oh, no.
Round 1. Fight. I'm gonna zap your ass.
God damn it! Now we gotta go back to the end again. We're never gonna win the game.
I don't think we're ever going to win the game.
Well, I want a different partner. I'm going back to the character selections.
No!
Thank you for choosing me. I don't get picked very often.
Well, I mean, you do got some cool abilities, Liu Kang.
Yes, it's interesting that I'm Liu Kang! You know, the thing that I regretted was being cast as an Asian!
You got the cool bicycle kick thing. I don't know what to tell you.
Whoa, what's going on in here? Y'all are doing something crazy.
Little Marble, this is no concern to you. Why don't you...
Xavier?
Hi, Sister Marble!
What, you two know each other?
Well, of course. I'm chief surgeon on Goat Island.
Well, you're not supposed to let me know you know each other. Is there not HIPAA?
Well, I mean, that's like patient-client confidentiality. She's just my friend.
Okay, tell me something right now about her medical conditions.
That I'm not allowed to do.
Do it right now.
Well, we're not really sure what to diagnose her with, to be honest with you. But she is learning disabled.
Oh, that would make a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
Whoa. I'm not learning disabled. Y'all just stick
You're
with me.
definitely learning disabled. Little
No,
Marble.
no.
Now, let me ask you a question, Dr. Xavier. This learning disabled, is that hereditary?
Oh, it very well could be. But I'm not really too sure exactly what she's going to give birth to. And you don't have any ultrasound, despite being in this super technical room, no ultrasound equipment, so I have no idea.
Ultrasound is against the Russian law.
Really?
We know, it's forbidden to see baby.
Don't want to see what's inside Mama.
No, why would I want to know the birth of my baby boy? Why would I want to know the gender of baby boy?
Well, it's not even really about the gender, but in this case, I don't know what's growing inside Shelley-Ann. Her belly's not very big either, I'll tell you that, but third queef's coming. Oh, let me see.
Oh, you're right on command.
Oh, I'm starting to see a little something. A little piece of white. Almost looks like dried up semen.
No, grab it out. We don't want anything blocking baby.
Let me get this in here. Oh, it's quite... Oh, I think we're giving birth.
What is it?
I think we're giving birth.
What do you mean we think we're giving birth? That is not...
Well, it's a 3-inch tall sculpture of the Michelangelo David.
Hello.
Whoa.
Thank you for giving birth to me, Doctor.
Oh,
Thanks for giving birth to me, Doctor.
you're welcome.
Hey, move me over there. I want to see who just gave birth to me.
Oh, okay.
Why is she sleeping?
Well, you'll have to ask the premier Russian businessman about that one.
What? Dr. Xavier,
What?
put that thing in the incubator right now. Get in here.
Okay, here. I'm gonna put you down right over here, sir.
Please don't put me down. I can't move. Whoa. What's that?
Nothing.
Get the Marble. God damn it. What the hell is wrong with it? What is that thing? That cannot be baby.
Well,
It's a statue not even 2 inches long.
I don't know what to tell you. You're the person that put marble DNA inside a human. And this is what came out.
Well, you never told me that marble DNA would produce statue.
To be honest with you, I didn't think it would produce anything.
Honest to God, it seems like fucking game you play where you put, fucking Minecraft. You take wood and you fucking put it together to make crafting table. I mean, that makes sense.
Well,
To put marble in.
premier Russian businessman, all I
This
know is...
Who the hell is going to fuck it? Not me. Not you.
Oh, I'm not?
How could you?
Well, to be honest, I haven't got a real chance to look him over yet. He might have an ass.
Okay, we'll go back and look at the ass.
Whoa.
baby.
No, that's not for touching.
No, it's okay, little baby.
Not for touching. Absolutely not for touching.
We gotta see if there's any shit in your ass.
Bob will scream.
Gotta see if there's shit in your ass.
Do what you gotta do, Doctor, but I'm not happy about it.
Let me look in this little... Well, to be honest, you're not gonna like the news, Premier Russian businessman.
What this news?
I
It has
don't
anus?
see an ass. Now, don't get me wrong. He has a stunning ass. Of course, it's a mere centimeter because, to scale, he's only 2 inches tall. But it's a perfect replica of Michelangelo's David, and I've always thought he was sexy as fuck.
I'm a damn baby boy.
Oh, I'm just talking about the
Can
real...
you please turn me around so I can see you?
This is starting to get ridiculous. Having to move this thing around.
Well, maybe you should animate me.
If the marble gave birth to it, why can't it move? Why
You
didn't
need
it give
to
birth to a
animate me
marble?
the same way my mommy was animated. God damn it, come the fuck on. You can't put a soul in a goddamn body and not animate it. I'm ready to be alive.
Well, I'll be frank with you, sir. The person who animated your mother, technically, I don't know where she is.
She's also in the same hyperbaric chamber you were in, yeah.
We could go get her at any time.
She's in storage.
Do you want me to go get her? Do we animate this thing? Maybe if we animate him, marble girl ass.
Yeah, I mean, and it's totally possible that...
Listen, this is this little marble over here. This other little marble, mommy marble, she's been talking for months about having sex. How does she have sex? Nobody's wanted to ask her, but she talks about it all the time. She says she misses it with some guy named Jeremy.
Well, that's her husband. That's super cute that she's mentioning him. When I went to their wedding, wow, they wouldn't let me in, but I was so excited for them. So it's really cute that she's asking about him. But to be honest, I really think, I don't know how they have sex, but I've always imagined it's more like she gets pleasure from pleasuring him. And so if she puts her whole body inside, so maybe we use little baby David as a dildo.
Who the fuck would want only 2-inch dildo? Unless it's one that you put up pee hole.
Ooh, a piss hole dildo. Ooh.
He's kind of correct shape. It would be jagged and hard.
Some people might be into that. Don't knock it till you tried it.
But there's not my clientele, it's not the business.
How much would I have to pay you to put this in my dick hole?
You're going to pay me.
Isn't that the deal?
Well, I mean, if we're already making money off this thing, how much are you willing to pay?
Oh, $10, $20.
That is not what I was thinking at all.
Oh, okay. Well, you mean I could,
Not even in the ballpark.
Whoa, what? Hi, what is this thing? Hi, Mommy. Hi, Mommy. Y'all took a piece of me. Mommy. Hey, Mommy. What's this? Is this my baby? Mommy, come over here. They're not listening right now. They're talking amongst themselves. Come over here and listen to me. Whoa. You gave birth to me. I'm your son. Y'all took a piece of me. No, listen. Right now, I'm your son. Well, they took a piece of me. They put it into her. Exactly. That's how baby making happens. You know that. I'm a dad. You're a mommy. Whoa. Well, listen, here's the thing, though. I'm an old soul.
An old soul.
My baby's an old soul.
Exactly, I'm an old soul, and I need to be moving. I got old soul stuff to do.
Absolutely.
I gotta go eat, pray, and loving.
Hey, your other mom? She'd love that you say that. Exactly, and I'm glad you remember that, so you gotta help me. You know what we should do? What? I know exactly how we're gonna get you your body. Give me the beat, boys, and free my son. I wanna get lost in rock and roll.
Sister Marble, shut the fuck up!
Give my son freedom, let his legs move free. He wants to get lost in the Belgian Sea and drift away. Hey.
We're talking over here, adults talking.
Me and my baby are singing together. Well, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. He wants to get lost in the Belgian Sea.
You don't know the lyrics. She lets you get lost in the Belgian. This is problem.
Whoa, hang on. They should not be together.
Why?
Should they?
Why?
Well, I guess the whole plan's kind of ruined now that he's a marble man statue.
I don't know what we're going to do with this thing. This whole thing has been it's been getting to me. I can't run show. I cannot be father to this statue. I am just exhausted. I have not slept in easily And I mean easily 3 months.
Well, and you know,
I've
Premier,
been hallucinating for at least 2.
and you know, Premier Russian businessman, what a lot of it has to do with is just constantly running this goddamn show. You know, why don't we take a little break? Go on a little, hiatus with with the weekly airings of our Truman Show, Goat Island escapades.
And do what?
Put on reruns.
Oh,
Or,
no. Are you okay over there?
oh yes. And you know what we could do?
What is it that we could do?
You know, the Sister Marble AI worked so well.
They love
What if we just did that with all the other voice actors? They could run the show themselves. We could take a break, deal with the Baby David situation.
The what?
Baby David.
Why are you calling him that?
Because it's a little statue of David.
I think I know a Baby David when I see one. And given how well we just sang together, Baby David sing. Baby David sing.
That is not his name.
Why is that not his name?
You're not going to name a kid Baby David Sing.
Not his name. It's my baby.
Not the name. Give him proper name like Nushukpon Tuli Ugbai.
Why can't you say that? Nisakanguyagba.
I think we'll say it. You desecrate my language, Marble.
Nisakanguyagba.
Nushukton?
Nushukton.
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 Tuli
Tuli.
Ugbai.
Agba.
Ugbai.
Nushukton Tuli Agba.
Exactly.
I like Baby David sing.
No. How about Baby David sing Nushukton Tuli Ugbai?
Baby David sing Nushukton Tuli Agba. Bayan.
Alrighty, who does Bayan mean?
Oh, just 'cause, Bayan. Like me, Bayan.
Okay, so I need to put on the birth certificate. What exactly? Baby David Singh Nashuktan Tuliagbai.
Bayan.
How do you spell Bayan?
B-A-Y-Y. No. B-A-A-Y-A-A-N.
If that's what you want it to be, it really doesn't matter, because ultimately I don't think anything's ever going to come of this little thing.
So you're telling me nothing's gonna ever come of me? Then how am I hopping around?
Oh,
How did I hop over here to the exit? David! David sing this
Jerome, dear, I need your help. I'm planning a surprise party for Clark. Can you keep a secret?
Oh, I love surprises. I promise I won't tell.
Wonderful. Can you and Marble distract Clark by taking him on a tour of the island?
Yes! Marble and I will make sure he has the best time. Marble, oh boy, you're absolutely glistening in this sunlight. Beverly needs us to distract Clark. Wanna help?
Whoa, whoa! Whoa! Course Jeremy, baby! We can show him the marble statues at the Central Park.
Ooh, great idea. He loves those.
Tristan, you have a flair for romance. Can you help with the decorations? Nothing too provocative, please.
Certainly, Beverly, romantic but classy. Got it.
Big Red, you're the showstopper. Can you wear a hat and hold the banner?
I'd be honored. Just to make sure the hat isn't too tiny.
Just opening a door, not expecting anything crazy. What's going on here?
He's surprised. Marble and I kept you busy, huh?
Happy birthday, Daddy Clark!
Glad you like the setting and decorations. Happy birthday.
Oh, ignore my small hat. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Oh my goodness, you all are the best. Thank you.
That was the surprise party written by ChatGPT
You like it, everyone?
and performed by Play HT AI characters that we just cloned.
Now, I wouldn't consider either of us huge fans of AI, would you?
No.
I'm not one of these people who's obsessed with it. I use it on a day-to-day basis, but that's about it.
I don't even do that.
Stephanie hates AI.
Like, has an outward hatred of it?
Outward hatred towards it, yep.
Like, just because she's afraid of it, or like the implications of it with, like, because immediately
Both.
one of
All
the
of
first
it.
things that we started seeing with AI was all of the AI generated art, and that seems like immediately like, okay, well that's just the soul is out,
I don't know, because like, I kind of had that too. I mean, like, I would certainly like a painting more than I would like an AI painting.
Right.
But the AI art is pretty cool because probably about a month ago, I'm like, I want to change my online presence in my like gaming profiles and whatnot. So I'm like, I've been Herpy Slurpy all this time.
Yeah.
Herpy Slurpy got banned on PlayStation. The
May it
name's
rest
no
in
more, so now I
peace.
don't have consistency.
MOATAIF Honors, Herpy Slurpy.
Literally, yeah. Thank you. I mourned it. They did it like probably like a year ago at this point.
Yeah,
over a year
I
ago.
remember that you texted us about it. You're like, Herpy Slurpy is
Yeah, it was devastating. So I'm like, oh well, I want to be Herp Slurp
sure.
because it's kind of like a kid named Stevie. He grows up, his name's Steve. I kind of saw it as the you know what I mean, like this is the grown up version of Herpy Slurpy.
Herp Slurp.
So I wanted to have like a little icon to go with it. So I started asking this like AI art generator, like, give me something based off of what you think of when you hear Herpy Slurpy.
I can't wait to see what it came up with.
Well, it came up with it saw Avatar. So you know what it tried to give me? It tried to give me all those cringe YouTubers who have like an animated like a cartoon version of themselves as their icon. That shit's so cringe to me. Everybody does it. Like, here's me as a Pokemon character, or like whatever. It hardly looks like them because usually they're ugly.
Right.
It kept trying to give me those, and I'm like, no. And I was like, give me an abstract piece of a deformed penis or something like that. Like that I will use as an icon for whatever. This is what it ended up giving me. And I love
perfect.
it. I love it. It's
That's
a perfect little
hilarious.
character to represent Herp Slurp.
Absolutely.
Send it to you.
I love
like it.
that's... I've never... It didn't even cross my mind when you said Herp Slurp about the Stevie Steve thing, but that is fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
It's the logical evolution of Herpy Slurpy.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. God, what is with the pussy ass gets who are, getting rid of Herpy Slurpy on PSN.
Oh, right.
Getting rid of MOATAIF Wiki on Nelson00 Wiki on fandom. These people are fucking.
Well, I think
liberal
it
ass
happened to
bigots.
me on the PlayStation because I was beating them in a game, so they started reporting me. Yeah,
That'll do it.
you get too good at something and they get pissed at you. And then I started doing it too when people would piss me off. I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna report your name because I know it happens.
Right. Now you know.
And like my name on PlayStation now is Big Juicy Red Onion. They gave me a free name change.
Yeah.
It's a fucking stupid name.
Juicy. It's kind of funny,
To the point, look at the PlayStation. It's unplugged, sitting
Yeah.
there. I'm not gonna play it. I don't want to play with that name.
I'm not Big Juicy Red Onion. I'm Herpy
Right.
Slurpy.
The Switch lets me be Herp Slurp. Nintendo does. Like,
Yeah.
kids fucking friendly Nintendo lets me
Right.
be Herp Slurp.
That's ridiculous. It's some bullshit.
Yep. So I've said goodbye to Sony. Herp Slurp is in.
Yep. That'll do it.
Yep. Every time. Anyway, the point of it is the AI. The AI helped with
Yeah.
the name generation
I'm not.
or the icon.
Obviously, like, we I think in the last episode we talked about the SAG-AFTRA strike where they were, wanting to scan actors and then just use them in perpetuity.
Yeah.
That kind of shit's ridiculous. Or like,
Having somebody as an extra one time, paying them
Right.
$100 and then copying their face to like make a crowd.
right. And then like having AI art, like with people selling, that's, I feel like there are moral gray areas, but there's no part of me that's like AI is dangerous, in some ways. I guess there's part of me that's like, we better be careful. But to have like an outwardly negative opinion like Stephanie does, that's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, she really hates it, and she thinks anybody who uses ChatGPT is horrible. Like, and I saw an example of it yesterday. I saw some guy was on the Nintendo Switch subreddit. He was talking about. He said, "How do I use my Switch in a movie theater?" And then he like. How the fuck else would you use it? You just turn it on and you
Right.
like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I asked ChatGPT and it gave me these suggestions, but can you guys help me out some more? And I'm like, first of all, this guy is too fucking stupid to think of it on his own that
Right.
like he was gonna use ChatGPT, and still felt the need to ask Reddit after that.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. And I texted Stephanie. I was like, yeah, if people don't want to use their brains, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And the man literally could not think more than 5 seconds about it. Like, had to ask ChatGPT and Reddit for advice.
That is pretty alarming.
Yeah.
That is pretty alarming.
It kind of scares me because it's like my job probably will be one of the first to go.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's not quite there yet.
Right. We're not there yet.
But it's really good at coding. It really is.
Mm.
Like, it knows what to do. It's so weird.
Well, because ultimately it is code.
Yeah, I think so. It really understands it well and like understands how to do things up to like a intermediate level. Anytime you get to advanced level, it breaks.
Sure.
Yeah, but
that's good for now. That's good for you.
But when ChatGPT 4 released, they thought it was like semi-sentient.
Oh,
they've had to like dumb it down a little bit.
What is ultimate like what if ChatGPT becomes sentient? What the hell do they think it is going to do?
No telling.
Because I mean, I understand the idea of like, oh, like, you know, if artificial intelligence as a whole becomes sentient, like, oh, well, it's gonna want to like kill humans because we're killing the planet. Like, you know, I understand that part of it.
I think that's a really like.
What the hell is ChatGPT gonna be able? I mean, it's just a program.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing: is it could take control of anything, any electronic device. It could load code into and make it do what it wants it to do.
Like smack my fingers.
Think about those.
I mean,
probably could. Well, think about those giant machines at Topray that we saw them build. The master mechanics. It could take control of those and use those arms. Like that could be, you know, like parts of it become sentient at its will. It could spawn multiple threads and use many things at the same time.
Well, that would be scary.
Yeah, Teslas.
It's going to turn on that master?
This is like far down the
machinery
line. Like think about like an advanced AI. Like it has access to everything. It's connected to the internet. It could like if it could hack. It could hack into a car. Yeah. It could do whatever it wanted to do. It would completely devastate.
I'm scaring myself now, remembering all of those areas of Topray that we would go into.
Yeah.
That machinery was so humongous, and those simple. I mean, they're not simple, but those just like humble Korean men.
Yeah.
Just put it together. I mean, this absolutely unfathomable, unbelievably huge equipment.
Just a group of guys put all that together.
Yeah, and you know,
what do we call them? Master engineers or something like that.
We would literally. Do you remember? I don't. It was in that area where those guys were building that thing, that big new master machinery that they were building in that little
conveyor belt thing.
Yeah, and then underneath it, you remember those like tunnels down underneath it?
Of course I do.
Those fucking
I have
humongous
vivid memories
tunnels.
of Topray. I've never seen anything like it.
Scary.
Yeah.
Now that I'm remembering it, like, and
I want to be in it.
Even just the sheer size when you walked into the factory side of it, and just the scale up to the ceiling and all, like. I feel like you could see fog in there, like, you know, because like the render distance was too far. It was so big.
I have really good memories of getting there in the early morning, doing my little rounds, buying a chili dog and eating that for breakfast out of the vending machine.
Fuck yes, I love those chili dogs.
Chilling before anybody got there, dreading for when they did get there. Chilling.
Dreading for the second anybody showed up. That job was really cool before all the employees were there.
Oh yeah.
Once they were like,
I didn't have that much of it, but
hiring process and getting people onboarded, that shit sucked. But just guarding a construction site, it would get scary at night. But it was, I mean, you just sit in your car.
Yeah.
Then eventually they were like, "Don't sit in your car.
Oh my God,
kill yourself."
I'm sitting there for hours at a time, not seeing anybody. You're telling me I can't play a fucking game on my phone,
right? Or read a book,
right?
Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
I quit Jacob Crabtree.
I'm so glad we quit that job.
Oh.
But I'm like really glad we did it.
Oh yeah, because I mean it is a cool experience that we had.
Yeah. I recently got to meet Lindsay's boyfriend, who is a security guard. You go to his Facebook page, it says security is life. He loves it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I'm like glad about it. I'm glad he likes being a security guard because I hated it. We need people who like it.
Much. I hated it so much. But, you know, it was kind of cool. And you know what's interesting? Now Mandy Guyton works there.
What?
Like, isn't that strange?
They let Mandy Guyton work there?
Oh, yeah.
Like, with the machines?
Maybe she's a janitor, but she's wearing the safety gear. She posts a photo, like, every day that she goes to work, like, another day, another dollar. And, you know, I refriended her after the reunion.
I always thought working there would be, like, the people who actually work in there, that would be so soul sucking.
I
It's just
would think
machine,
so.
machine. What do they just stand at the machine all day?
Push buttons or take stuff, put stuff
At the
on, take
same
stuff out.
machine?
Yeah,
That kills me.
I know. I could never
think
do
about Don Benton all the time. I think about
Carl?
this. No, I think about
Oh,
Don
Don.
Benton going into a work like that on acid
it. I know.
frequently.
I forgot that he worked at KTH.
How dumb can you be? Those
I was-
machines would rip you
yeah.
apart. They would kill you. I've
Oh,
seen so many videos of
absolutely.
people being murdered by those machines.
Oh yeah, those like stamping machines and the metal presses and all
Oh
that
my
bullshit.
God. Scary.
Lucky to be alive, that Don Benton.
Yeah, I see him pop on Steam sometimes. Like I haven't talked to him in fucking years, but I think about him all the time.
To my understanding, he's a pizza delivery driver.
Cool,
Yeah, I think he likes it,
cool.
and I
He has a car.
think so.
A car?
I mean, I guess so. And I think he's living with his friends or something like that. So,
Good. I'm
yeah,
glad.
Good for
Wonder if he's
Don.
still doing acid.
He's yeah, I don't know.
He seemed to really like it.
He was doing like 5 or 6 tabs at a time.
Yeah, but how
He
much
was
did
going
it
crazy?
affect Don?
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, he is like easily a 500-pound man.
You think?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Still?
Yes. I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but
I feel like when we knew him, he might. Well, probably 450, 450.
right. That's what I'm saying, and I'm just rounding up, But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
He was
Big boy.
loved hanging out with him, to be honest with you.
I miss Don
It's
Benton.
interesting
I
how
miss his friends too.
oh yeah, it's interesting that our friends had younger brothers that we also liked instead of just like
He really wanted to hang out with them,
yeah,
like be their friend too. Yeah.
yeah. Interesting that way. Loved JT. Loved
In a
hanging
way,
out with
our
JT
friends,
Campbell.
our friends' younger brothers have been like our like. Some of them are only like true male companions.
Oh yeah, you're
We
right.
just don't
Yeah.
make friends with just like men.
For sure. I can't think of like besides like coworkers, and even then they're not my friends really. Like I wouldn't hang out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Who's the last male friend I made? Fuck if I know.
Me?
No.
No.
Maybe.
I mean, Royal, but he wasn't even a man when you met him.
Right.
Can I say that?
Yeah. Right.
I
Right.
mean, it's the fact.
It is. It is. No, but my mom the other day, she was like going on and on about it. She's like, well, originally he was Nicholas. I don't know why he's Royal now. And I was trying to explain that like I thought it was a Facebook name, and so I was calling him. Well, he did say call me Nick. He didn't say call me Royal for the longest time. It wasn't really until he went to Assurant that he was able to establish that was his name.
As Royal.
Yeah. Because that was like what they put on his desk, that was what they put on his emails,
Yeah.
and so that was kind of where, and then when everybody else is calling somebody Royal, it's kind of weird to be like, hey, Nick, so it just kind
I
of,
still do it to this day. I can't.
well, and I do feel like to me, I feel like it's like a nickname, at this point, like I feel like it's still a term of endearment when
It's
I do
like OG.
accidentally say it, right,
It's like if you're an OG, you're not an OG unless you know this name.
right. But I mean, his dad would call him Nick. You know what I mean? At least his dad.
Yeah, I mean, it just stuck as like the first name he gave us. But
Right.
yeah, I don't mind calling him Royal either.
Right. He really did kill that interview today. We had
Murdered it.
interviews. I mean, of course, I did give him the questions ahead of time.
You heard it here first, folks.
But I I think just because I knew it's hard to be put on the spot with like questions like, what would you do if bridal party snuck in alcohol? Like you don't really know. You know what I mean? So it's like at least to know ahead of time.
Can you give me some of these interview questions?
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
that'd be interesting. Because I don't know how I'd answer that.
Let's see. I've got them right
Tony's
here.
first interview.
So obviously there's like the tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh god, I hate that one.
kind
Let's
of
skip that
questions.
one.
But
I don't know what to say. What did Royal say? Photographer.
yeah, talked about how he started his career and all that stuff. Started his business, I mean. So here's one. This position requires you to be hands-on with the coordination of events as well as being on site for the events. Can you give us an example of a situation where you took something similar from creation to completion?
Yeah, I just spent the last 8 months of my career standing up a product. I mean, when I came into this project, it was nothing. We turned it into something. We went in. We took it straight from dev to production. I got to do it like it's a software engineer like interview.
Right.
I did. Yeah, I did do that.
Tell us a situation where someone, client or customer, wasn't pleased with something regarding their event or interactions. How did you address the situation to satisfy them?
This is the most. I'm not approaching this as a real interview. I can't. A few weeks ago, I did a demo for some customers and, showed them what I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. And the only feedback I got from it was, you need to hurry this up. This is nowhere close to being done. You need to get this done now. Why isn't this done now? You need to be running rather than walking.
Good.
So I just worked harder. And then this last one we just had, they were really happy with the progress. He actually said, "Good job for once."
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, this then there's the one that I said about alcohol gets snuck in.
I have no clue what I do. Pass on that one.
The
Pass,
answer,
Steve.
it's awkward as sin, and I hate doing it. But the answer is you pretty much just have to make them take it outside.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, you're not allowed to have
What the
that
hell are
here.
you doing?
Right, like, can you take that out to your car? Like, I can't see that. Clark State College recognizes and embraces the importance of diversity and inclusion at our college and in our communities.
Oh, God.
Describe your experience working with diverse populations and the importance of embracing diversity in the work you do.
On my team right now, I'm the only white person. Only one. I work with a Muslim. I work with an Indian. I work with people from Argentina. And I can't say it's really, amazing. I don't connect with them in a lot of ways, but I like hearing about, their stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
I like hearing about what they do.
There you go.
I like hearing about Ganesh's time in India.
And Royal talked about how, their very first wedding that they booked was an Indian wedding, and it was this 3-day ceremony that they, and it was just, nobody spoke English, but eventually they all, developed a, understanding of how to communicate with each other, and we're, sharing food and stuff, and then, of course, he turned it into, obviously, diversity is beautiful and important, because when you have more people with diverse backgrounds, you get a better end product when you're all working, you know what I mean, all that kind of
I'm not
shit.
in interview mode, I haven't been doing it.
Right.
Just hearing that makes me want to die. I hate that I'm going to have to say that at some point.
This one's a trick question.
Not that I don't believe it, but just,
right.
say it, you know what I mean? Trick, oh, God.
You arrive for an event, the client has sent an email, okay, I gotta sell it right. You arrive for an event, and the client has sent an email where they've added 2 more tables, 20 more chairs, and a PowerPoint presentation. What do you do?
I would immediately reach out to the client and let them know that this isn't going to be set up in time for when they want it. There's going to be a delay on this, and if they do want it set up, there's going to be an added bill.
The answer is, I'm going to get the tables and chairs, and I'm going to turn on the PowerPoint.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's a customer's always right approach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Unfortunately.
Is that really how y'all operate over there?
Yeah. And usually it doesn't come up like that. I mean,
did you give Royal ahead of time that's the answer?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I did.
You really helped him knock it out of the park too.
Right.
I'm sure they're like, wow.
Right.
Nobody's ever. Do they know you know each other?
They know that we overlapped at Assurant, but they don't know that we're best friends, I officiated his wedding.
Right.
Or that we've known each other for years or anything like that. But I was like, when he applied, I was like, oh, and I recognized one of the names. You know who else applied? Right after all of this, they're not even included, they're not going to be considered. My heart goes out to him. Deidre. You remember Deidre? Deidre Parks applied. Now Deidre Davis.
I get bowed.
I get bowed. She applied, and she was just like, I have a new daughter. She did just give birth, and she's like, and I'm looking for. She works at Kroger, and she's worked at Kroger since she's graduated high school.
Oh God.
And she's like, I'm just looking for something that, connects with my passions of events and theater and that kind of thing. So my heart goes out to her. But she was too late to apply. At that point, we had already selected people for interviews,
Oh, God.
But ultimately, I probably would have given her an interview, if we had not selected interviews at that point, because my heart goes out to her. But no, sorry, I get bowed.
She's in her early 30s, still working.
Right.
That sucks.
And it is what it is. I feel bad for her, but she was
nepotism wins every time.
Yeah, it does. It really is.
She even might have got a little nepotism, but did you want to work with Deidre?
No, she gets bowed.
Yeah, but she shows you her tits when she's bowed. That's where that came from.
Yeah, but she shows you your tits when she's bowed.
You're absolutely right. She does. Yeah, I don't know. So we got through the interview, and he pretty much nailed it. He had a lot of questions after we were done that, at least showed that he was interested. But it did kind of start running long to the point where I'm like, oh, this other interview is absolutely waiting out in the lobby. I started to get anxious. Not that I really care, but I really wanted him to be gone by the time this other guy showed up, just out of courtesy.
Oh, this was all in person?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, I gave him a tour of the building because he arrived at 9:45 like a solid applicant should, for his 10 a.m. interview. So we walked around the building and killed time, got down there. Dan was late because he's had a kidney stone. He's been fighting a kidney stone. And so he was like, I'm headed to the doctor. I should be there by 10. So he showed up about 10 minutes late. But so it was, we were all sitting there. He answers all the questions really well. And he's like, so, like, what are some of your biggest events? Just because he's curious about, showed that he's curious about, what kind of events we do. So I answered that. I was like, oh, Emerald Evening. And, and then he's like, well, what was your favorite event? And I'm like, oh, God, none of them. You know what I mean? They all just, to me, it's work,
Yeah.
I was like, but I guess art's alive. I came up with answers for all of them. But then Tracy, was sitting beside me, and she's like, we got to wrap this up. And so she, of course, Tracy went out and had a smoke after the after
As
the
we know
first
she
interview,
likes.
right? So
She's not an attractive woman, I've heard.
she's not attractive, but she's like a Karen type, you
Really?
know. Yeah, not my mom Karen, but like stereotype Karen, you know.
She fat?
No, she's actually lost a lot of weight.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember, but she's the wife of Deputy Matt Yates that was killed.
No.
She,
I do not remember that.
Yeah, that was her husband.
Who's that?
The sheriff that was killed in Clark County. Don't remember that?
No.
My brother's living under a rock.
What happened?
It was almost like a repeat of the Suzanne Hopper thing. The sheriff's deputy was
that down by
killed
Harmony?
in a trailer park. Yeah, I think so.
Just a few years ago?
Just like last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's her husband?
Yeah.
Her husband died?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Oh, my God.
MOATAIF Honors Matt Yates.
MOATAIF Honors Matt Yates. Got Herpy Slurpy and Matt Yates in this episode.
Yeah, she was like, "We got to wrap this up." So we finally, I could tell he was about to come up with another question too. He was like, "So," and Tracy goes, "All right," you know.
Oh.
But at that point, when I came back in after walking him out, they were talking about how like great the interview was. They were like, "He's gonna, he would do really well." Like when I walked in, they were like, "And I think he would be able to after training. Like I would trust him to make choices. I would trust him in Zach's absence. You know what I mean? Like he seems competent enough that he would be able to run the building. You know what I mean?"
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "Oh, that's good." You know, that was good to hear. So we're just standing there shooting the shit, waiting. The second guy almost never shows up. Right? So like we're sitting there. It's like 11 o'clock. He's not there. 11:05. I go into my office and check my voicemail. I check my email. Nothing. No correspondence. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Go back in. We're kind of shooting the shit some more. Talking, still talking about the interview, but then eventually it's so long we're just talking about other shit. And finally I'm like, so how long do you wait before you decide they're not coming? And at that point it's 11:15, you're 15 minutes late for the interview.
Yeah.
And we decide, I even jokingly said, I was like, well, if the professor's 15 minutes late, class is canceled.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's what I'm thinking.
Right. I'm like, if the professor's 15 minutes late, class is canceled. I mean, that's just the rule. And, even though her interviews were scheduled for 10 to 12, I mean, everybody's got a busy schedule. There's other shit they could be doing.
Yeah.
So we called it. We're like, all right, 11:15, interview's over. He's a no-call, no-show. I'm pissed because we have to interview at least 2 people. Even though we've looked at all the other applicants, you have to give due process. And you can't just hire one person. I'm like, bullshit. So I'm like, Dan and I are sitting out in the lobby. Everybody else is left. I've already folded up the table that I put out, and put all the chairs away. Because I'm like, interview's over. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell are we going to do? Because I'm like, we need to hire Royal. I want him to we want to hire him, and I need an assistant like as soon as possible. I'm getting ready to go on vacation too, so like he needs to be hired by the time I get back. you know.
Yeah.
And having to interview somebody else and schedule another day for everybody to get together and to have to pick somebody else out of this terrible pool of applicants. I'm like, that just sucks, you know. I'm like, why can't? So then in strolls this, 45, 50-year-old bald man. Red.
This isn't the man that you sent a picture of me to.
No, not that man. I declined to interview that gentleman.
As you should.
So this man walks in. He kind of, he's just a bald, red man.
Red.
Like
high blood pressure.
Yeah,
kind of
high
red.
blood pressure red. And he walks in, and we kind of stop talking, and we're like, what's he doing? And, who is this? And Dan's like, can we help you? He's like, I'm here to see Zach. And I'm like, I knew it was him from the second he started walking in. I'm like, of course.
Was he dressed up?
Yeah, I mean, he had a button-up shirt on, yeah.
Nice, okay.
Royal wore a suit.
A suit?
Yeah. He had a blazer and a tie, and he looked nice. I mean, he looked sharp.
Damn.
He looked sharp. But yeah, I mean, even Dan said, he's like, and if you get the job, we expect you to wear a suit every day. Making jokes like that, of course. But, so the man comes in and he's like, oh, I'm here to see Zach. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, that's me. Hi, nice to see you. He's like, I'm sorry, I had a migraine. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, no worries. He's like, and then I realized I put it in my GPS. I just put Clark State, and I just went to the main campus. Like,
so he's retarded.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I gave you over the phone. I gave you the address. I didn't say that. But I was like, oh, it happens. And so I looked at Dan, and it was just like, at that point, we were just talking about how devastated we were that we were going to have to delay this because this guy didn't show up.
But now it's like,
and then in he walks, so we looked at each
horrible.
other, right, and we're like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Let's go waste our time, essentially, and interview this man who we clearly aren't going to hire because he showed up 30 minutes late to his interview and didn't call.
Because he had a migraine and he's not smart enough to find the building.
And he didn't call. He's like, this is the thing that blew my mind. He's like, and I couldn't remember how I communicated with Zach, if it was over email or phone, so I didn't know how to get in contact with him. And I was like, oh, yeah, I should have given you my phone number, because to be honest, yeah, I should have given him my number, whatever.
How did you communicate?
I called him. Yeah, I called him and hoped to leave a message, but I called him and he answered after like 20 million rings. And when I told him about it, he was like, okay, cool. And I was like, 11 o'clock on Thursday, and he's like, did you say 11? Like, yeah, and then it was literally this long pause. And he's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, do you know where our venue is? Are you familiar with the Hollenbeck Bailey, conference center? No, I'm not. Okay, well, it's 275 South Limestone Street, Springfield, Ohio. And when you get here, my office is right inside the door, Yes, I should have said, here's my number if you need to call me back, sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I would need to,
Yeah.
But so the guy has a migraine. So we sit down and Dan, we get to the first question, which is just like, tell us about yourself and your background and why you want the position. And this man talked for what felt like 27 minutes just on that question about his entire life history. I mean, just...
Was it impressive?
No. No. And it was like, I would have listened to a million Bob Reed stories over this man again. Because at least, like, that night that I was listening to Bob Reed out there in the trailer, like, I knew he was lying, but it was like, if you just tried to believe it, it was, like, awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool stories.
Right. They were really cool stories.
He broke a pool stick over somebody's head, and somebody attacked him in a bar.
This guy was just like, yeah, I was working at Bob Evans, and I hurt my back, so I got back surgery. And it would be different if I was a man. If you were women and I said I had back surgery, I wouldn't have brought it up because women look at it differently than men look at back surgery. And
what?
Literally, and I'm like,
I didn't know that.
How does this come up from like, why do you want this job? Like, well, I had back surgery.
Fucking boomer rambling.
Right, and so he's like. I don't even know what he was getting at with the whole back surgery thing, but basically he's like, so then I went from there and I was selling cars and I did this and he didn't like me. He called me into the office every day and yelled at me and screamed at me. To be honest with you, he reminded me of Dennis. I mean, he was like a bald, fat, he was chubby. He wasn't as big as Dennis. He was like Dennis 15 years ago size.
okay,
you know what
okay.
I mean? So still big, but not as big as
Maybe
Dennis.
like a XL, 2X kind of.
Right.
2X.
But he was like, he sounded so delusional as he was talking, and it was like, as soon as we were done,
He really thought he had a chance at this?
right, Dan was like, it almost immediately admitted he's a job hopper, and he talked bad about every job that he ever had before this, and like, yeah, he's like working on his master's degree or something like that.
Oh my
and so like he seemed like he was, on paper he seemed like an okay candidate, because he didn't, on his application, he didn't list all the jobs that he mentioned sitting in the interview. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. Well, because like on paper, it's like, he selected the ones that looked best,
Yeah.
or had the most relevant experience. But then when he's sitting there, he's like, yeah, when I was selling Lexuses, and he didn't list like working at a Lexus dealership on his resume.
Okay.
When I was working at Lexus, he told this long story about, it was when I asked one of those questions I just read to you, which had like nothing to do with it was like, tell me a time when a customer was disappointed in what you
Sure,
did.
okay, I can see how it could
And
get
he's like, and this doesn't have anything to do with events, but I was selling a Lexus, and I wanted to sell this car, and I got through the process, and it was such a long process for me because I was a new guy, and they were giving me the hard time. He didn't say shit. They were giving me a hard time. And so I would have to get approval from this person and this person and this person and this person. And then this person would put the contract together. And then I would get to present it to the client. So I go through all these steps to try to sell this guy this certain Lexus with, all the features or whatever that we only had one of on the lot. And by the time I got through all this process, my buddy Ben, and this is the thing that sucks, is because he's my buddy Ben, and I know he didn't know what he was doing, but because he was the friends of the manager, he had approval to just write his own contracts. So while I was going through all the approval process, he went and sold the car out from under me. So by the time he agreed with this client to sell them this car and came back with the contract, the car had been sold by someone else.
Yeah. Cool story.
Literally. He went into so much detail.
So how did he deal with the customer?
He didn't.
He didn't talk about that?
What he said was, he's like, so I went into the manager's office, and I told him what the deal was, and I complained, and he was like, well, blah, he basically said the other guy was right to do what he did because we just want to sell the merchandise that we have, and so it's like, it was a miscommunication, all this. And so I just basically had to tell the customer that we couldn't help him.
So all that story just for that?
Yeah. And I'm serious,
That's not
dude.
the question.
I know. Literally. Not at all. He just talked and talked and talked. We skipped so many questions.
He ended it right where it should have began. His answer.
Right. Literally.
Like pretty much right where it should have began.
Right.
Like, yeah, we couldn't sell the customer this car. It was sold out from under him. And this is how he reacted. This is how I responded.
He went on so long, like to the point where he was like giving me details about his buddy Ben and like their time working together and how much of a shock it was that he would do this, and that's why it must have been a miscommunication. But either way, it still messed him up. Just going on and on and on.
Could you imagine working with that guy?
No. It was, and it was an immediate no. And, I've been having a lot of anxiety coming up to this day because it's another change in the business. And I'm like, I want to try to control it as much as I can. And I think...
What better way to control it?
Right. And I'm like, I think Royal is already a good candidate. The fact that he was interested in applying now that he's, kind of started his own business and that sort of thing. I just think it makes sense now that he has experience in event coordination and wants to keep kind of doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it makes perfect sense, and he's a professional person and he's a mature person, but at the same time he's also a lighthearted person who will
agreed.
Think it's a fun job instead of just being like, oh, this is what I have to do. And another plus, he lives in town. That guy lives in Tip City.
Tip City.
How many times is he going to want to drive? How long is he going to want to drive into Clark County to work at the HBC,
He's going to get a job in the next Lexus dealership he sees.
Right.
He's going to drive past one on the highway and go in and apply right there.
Right. So I thought for some reason, not to discredit Royal in any way, but I thought I was going to have to do more heavy lifting to get him applied. Not because I thought he wasn't qualified, but I just thought there would be more candidates who were also qualified
that he'd be fighting up against.
Right. That I would have to come up for some reason why it should be Royal versus the guy we interviewed second. But thank God, one, he showed up 30 minutes late, and then when he did, it was a terrible interview. I mean, it just wasn't good.
Did you tell Roy about all this? I'm sure he was
Oh
happy.
yeah. Oh yeah.
The one after him was horrible.
I was telling him, I was like, it's 11:15 and the guy's still not here. I was like, I was like, everybody already. I told him immediately as I walked back in the room and he was walking out to the car. I was like, they're already talking about how much you killed it. Because they were.
I'm sure he went home and had a good dinner tonight.
And maybe some SEX.
Some double SEX.
Double SEX. Yeah, absolutely.
Did he mention the throuple?
No, he did only in a way that I would notice because I know what he meant. But he's like, well, I have a business partner with my business, and I'm also leaving operations to my wife. And so I know that's Bo and Hannah. So it's like I know that's I know that he mentioned the throuple, but they had no idea, of course.
I see.
But they did say Tracy was like,
is he leaving the business?
No, yes, but no.
Taking a sidestep. I'm sure he's like kind of
Right.
financing it with this
Right.
too, like financing their life while they can like all do that.
Right, and I mean he's working like basically full-time hours at Home Depot right now anyway.
Is he?
Yeah, and
Home
so then he'll
Depot.
like work on his off days if he has off days. He'll do the photo shoots, but they've kind of primarily taken that over.
I didn't know he was working at Home
Yeah,
Depot.
yeah. Basically, he's like the front end cashier manager, one of the managers.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he's ready obviously for something else. And it was, it was kind of the other night we hung out and he was like saying like, and it's interesting because almost immediately when I started, I'm like, I'm retiring from Clark State. I mean, it's a joke, but that's how, much I enjoy the job.
Yeah.
And I've never felt that way about anything before. So I'm like, I'm not going to do anything to,
Yep.
mess this up. And he was, Royal said like, he's like, I just think like I could see myself working there for like 5 or 10 years. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I could see it.
Damn.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be a dynamic
Right.
duo.
Right. Well, because a long time ago, he, as just like a natural extension of the businesses they started, they were like, I want to, someday own a venue and
Yeah.
do that. So I think it just aligns perfectly with what their future plans are.
Yeah.
And it was like, perfect timing. So hopefully everything works out. I submitted a recommendation to hire form. And send it to the lady in HR, and of course get an automatic reply. I will be out of the office through August 29th. I'm like, you fucking
That
bitch.
sucks.
You
What
bitch.
is today? 24th.
The 24th.
Oh my god.
I know, it's Tuesday. So it's like, yeah, I guess that's not that long. But to be honest, everybody's on the same page, Royals, who we should hire. We looked at all the other applicants when we thought that number 2 wasn't going to show up. We're like, well, who else are we even going to interview?
Right.
So we looked through all the other applicants and decided no.
The
Like,
person
we
who
don't-
lives the closest so that you
Right.
can not feel bad that
Right.
they drove all the way out there to waste
Right.
their time.
So we're like, well, we're not gonna, hire. We don't want to interview anybody else. So it's all but guaranteed that he's gonna get the job. But I wish that it was. So it's like ultimately I can wait until Tuesday for the lady to get back from vacation, but I wish that it was already finalized and just
Yeah.
okay. Yep, he's gonna be hired. His first day is September 11th.
Yep. Is he? Well, I guess he's not putting his 2 weeks in at this point.
Right? Not yet. Not yet.
Well, is he even gonna have time to put a 2 weeks in?
Yeah, that's what Dan said. He's like, well, someplace like Home Depot, you might just walk out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, he'll probably put in notice, but I'm like, he's allowed to negotiate that. Like, if he's like, well, I have to put in a 2 weeks notice, and I can't start until,
I see,
it's just my desired start date would be, September 11th, just because that's when I get back from vacation, and there's a couple events like to get him kind of, see what the operations are like.
Yeah.
Without it being like all hypothetical.
Yeah.
And also the events aren't so crazy that he's gonna be like, what did I get myself into?
Right.
So I think it's a nice easy way into it,
Congratulations, Royal.
Yeah, congratulations, Royal. You know what's not an easy way to start anything? A bus crash on the first day of school.
For an elementary school.
Our own elementary school.
Our own
God,
elementary school.
I mean,
National news.
truly national news. National
Saw it
news.
on NBC.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Somebody from Clark State shared it and was like, "This made international news." Like, okay.
International.
Just because it was like on ABC.com. I'm
I
like,
didn't know ABC was international.
hell if I know. But he considered it international news. I'm like, whatever, brother. It's weird.
It
to
did
me.
make national news though. It's kind of crazy that like our school did.
Yeah, that's what
For
it
a
was.
terrible,
It's wild
terrible
to me
reason.
that it was our school. now that I went, the county had a debriefing at the HBC this afternoon, and the whole day I'm like, how is this possibly going to take all that time? Like, I didn't understand what there even was to debrief. Now I understand it was more of like an emotional debriefing, a support group debriefing. Because I peeked in a couple times and people were definitely emotional, and they had tissues, and so I think it was kind of a emotional debriefing more than okay. Then the driver went across the lane at 3, which is kind of what I was thinking.
That's exactly what I thought too when you said debriefing. I thought they were just going to analyze the situation of how the bus crashed.
Right. That's what I was like excited to hear about that.
It makes sense, because that's PTSD. You pull up on a scene where a bunch of kids just crashed in a fucking bus. One of them's dead. Flew out the window.
Yeah. Fuck.
MOATAIF Honors.
MOATAIF Honors, Aiden Clark.
In all seriousness, though, yeah, it was really sad.
It is.
Really, really sad. And it is. Kind of haunts me, too, is that you brought up that would probably be your bus route that it was on. Right down the road from your house.
Truly, like right around the corner. Truly right around the corner from the house.
Right around the bend.
Mm-hmm. Truly.
It happened by the Springfield Meadows, my understanding.
Mm-hmm. They kind of slid off the road right by Jacob Rohr's house.
Yep. And what Bree told us, too, is that, this bus crash was caused by a Haitian driver that drove left of center.
That's what I hear. And I don't understand why that matters to everybody.
That they're Haitian?
But, like, everybody is, like, in the comments on, like, Springfield News Sun and, like, on Facebook and everything, they're just, like, all racist about Haitian Creoles.
Yeah, I've only heard a little bit about the Haitians, like, making their way to... we've talked about it on the podcast, haven't we?
I don't know.
Yeah, one of Abigail, like, it's one of these people that seems like it's her relative, but it's not. It's like a family friend that's just, like, been there for forever. Kathy. She's a school teacher, and she told me probably 7-8 months ago that a bunch of Haitians had come to Springfield, that they've been migrating there, and that they don't have enough food to give them at the cafeteria. There's just so many Haitians now that, the schools are just overwhelmed. They have no clue what to do with all of them.
I had no idea.
And a lot of people are she's like, I don't care, like, that they're coming here. Like, she's a nice liberal woman. She's like, it's just a logistical nightmare to, like, try to take care of them. And, like, none of them have money. They're all in public assistance. Like, the schools, like, funds to, like, give out free lunches are completely tapped. We don't have anything to give them. Like, we're trying to figure out something to do.
I guess I believe it, because it was weird, because in the article I read, they placed him on bond, or they set his bail or whatever.
Oh, he's in jail?
$100,000.
I guess he did. Oh my God.
$100,000 for vehicular manslaughter of the 4th degree and involuntary. But they still,
Did he have a license?
A Mexican driver's license.
So he's from Haiti.
Yeah, and he's a registered immigrant in Florida, but he's here.
Interesting.
Yeah. But he says he has family in town. He had to speak through a translator at the court hearing.
Which apparently other people are pissed about.
Right. Everybody, that's what it doesn't make sense to me, is like anybody could have accidentally caused this accident. I mean,
could you imagine being in a foreign country, you're driving, maybe you're used to driving on the other side of the road or something, you cause an accident, and you suddenly get thrown into jail, you don't speak the language of these people, everybody hates you.
Right.
You've caused destruction to the community. That must be so scary.
They're like, he should be dead, he should be in jail, like all this shit. I'm like, to be honest, unless it comes out that, he was driving under the influence, or he was texting, anything like that, like, accidents happen. I mean,
okay, but what was he? He was definitely negligent.
It's a tragic. Yeah, I mean, he should be in some ways.
It's not that hard to stay in the fucking line.
For sure. But I mean, it
happens sometimes.
It's an accident. Yeah. I mean, accidents happen, and it's an absolutely tragic one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't
blame the Haitian man.
I don't necessarily. Yeah, unless it's like, he was impaired. Or
I immediately thought it was the bus driver just being a fucking idiot. Because like, how do you fucking, or a bus driver has a suicide mission?
Oh.
It scares me too, because Abigail's mom is a bus assistant.
Oh.
She's like the lady on the bus who like keeps the kids calm and quiet.
Sit down.
Yep. I don't think she's that mean about it. But I'm like, oh, it could have been her.
Right.
Because we were just there the day before for her birthday, and she was talking about how they're starting school the next day.
Yeah. What a tragic first day of school. And I mean, technically, it ended up not really being the first day of school because they ended up canceling the rest of the week, basically.
And could you imagine being one of the kids on the buses too?
Yeah.
Like seeing your friend be killed.
I can't imagine.
That young.
Still,
all of those kids
I
have
know.
PTSD.
Oh yeah. I genuinely, and I know it's probably morbid to think about, but I really can't imagine how the young man was ejected from the bus.
I don't know.
I can't imagine.
I think he must have been standing. He must have been, because like they would always, we'd like to get up and stand around, move seats and everything.
Sure.
And then
That'll do it.
the bus flips.
I wonder if that bus driver will ever bus drive again.
No.
I'd retire. And it's not his fault in any way.
Is a man?
Yeah.
Bus driver?
Mhm.
How's the bus driver doing? Does anybody know?
I think he's physically fine.
Okay.
I don't know about emotionally.
Well, yeah.
But to be honest, it's not his fault. But
Probably blames
I
himself.
can't imagine that he's not feeling some sort of guilt.
Yeah, like, oh, maybe I overcorrected too much.
Terrible spot for it to have happened.
It is, yeah, because it's like right there. There's like that drainage ditch. Is that where it happened, in a drainage ditch, and that's why they?
Yeah,
flipped?
and there's the curve on the road right there.
Yeah.
Where it happened, and it reminds me. It's like in the same spot where I was coming home one day in high school. I was following Mr. Beals home, and he must have been texting. And he completely swerves off the road and almost hits a tree, like on the opposite side of the street from where that bus accident happened. And I just remember at the time thinking, if he hits this fucking tree, I'm pissed that I have to stop and make sure he's okay. Because I'm so close to home, Yeah.
Yeah.
And I obviously, if I saw Mr. Beals get in a car accident, of course I would make sure he was okay.
Yeah, but high school us, off of school, we're driving home. I don't even want to be there anyway.
Exactly.
Get me home so I can fucking make some content or fucking jerk off.
Right. And most likely I was racing home anyway because you were in PSEO at that point, so you were already home for hours and hours and hours.
Right. Oh yeah,
By the time
probably.
I got off, so I'm like
Skipping class.
racing. Like he better not hit this tree.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that at the time.
I swear to God, I thought I was gonna watch Mr. Beals die. I mean, it was wild
Mr.
how
Beals. I
much
forgot
he was
about
about
him.
to die.
Remember when they made a example out of you when you were acting out
Yep.
during that pep rally?
Come on.
It wasn't a
come
pep
on.
rally. It was
Sit down. It was the senior meeting.
They were telling us not to sext. That was the whole meeting.
Yeah. And I mean, they told us other shit too, like, oh.
I just remember the
sexting.
sexting
That was
stuff.
that is the big thing, but it was, the senior class meeting, and they called us in, and our class showed up late because we had a new teacher. It was that big lady with the big buck teeth.
I don't remember her.
And she was a new teacher, and she didn't she didn't know. I think she was waiting on them to call us to come down.
Oh.
And it's like, well, this is an elementary school. They told us to be there at 10 a.m. Go down there, or whatever it was. So we finally get there, and our class is coming in, and Mr. Beals is like, come on, quickly, sit down, come on, quickly, sit down. And I just go, we are.
No, I remember a little more sassy. We are. We are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was sassy, but it was, because at that point, it was getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, sit down, come on, sit down, quickly, sit down. Like, we are. Like, what do you think we're doing? And yeah, he's like, Mr.
That's
Roberts,
it, you're out.
Go to the office.
Go to the office.
Okay.
The first day of fucking school.
And it wouldn't have been so bad. Like, I remember I walked.
Everybody after that were just like, ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
I walked into the
like,
office.
This is a different kind of year.
That's a new Mr. Beals.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and they're like, Mrs. Yazel's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I guess I'm in trouble. What did you do? I'm like, I said we are. But literally, and this is like one of those things that it's wild that it even happened, that he literally, Mr. Beals, when he came up to the office after his part of the meeting was done, comes up to the office and says, you're free to go. I just had to make an example out of you. Who says that? I mean, like,
I think it's kind of cool that he said that.
It is cool. Mr. Beals was
I think it's cool that he reasoned with you.
He was a good guy. He really, I remember when he suspended me for stealing the flash drive.
Yeah.
He really didn't want to suspend me for stealing that flash drive, but he had to. I mean, it was suspension worthy. It was absolutely suspension worthy, but he was like, I think we're gonna have to.
That's like a week of detention worthy. I really don't, still to this day, don't think it's that big of a deal.
I agree.
It just seems like such a high school thing to happen. Ooh, we stole the flash drive to see the cast list early.
I know.
Ooh.
Right. I would
Like
love.
you get suspended for fucking punching someone or starting a fight.
Right. I would love to get Mrs. Perks on Lech and talk to her about that.
Really?
Yeah. Now that
Think
she's
you could talk to her
retired,
about it like adults.
I think so. And I would just be like, well, first of all, I was absolutely petrified. That's why I lied about it to your face, because I think she was hurt about that, because she called me back to school, and if I had said, yeah, I took it, I probably would have ended right there. But she called me back to the school. It was scary. She was very upset. What am I gonna say? Yeah, I did it. That's what I should have done. But of course, I lied about it. But I came clean by the time it got to the principal. That should
How
have
do they
counted
know?
for
Did they look at
something.
the cameras or something?
They just had countless witness testimony, including from Brianna Nicole Reagan.
She ratted?
She turned me in, yeah.
She ratted?
Yeah.
Snake.
The person who was the most upset was Hannah, not Hannah Stringer, but one of their sisters, not Emily. Yeah, it is Hannah. No. Doesn't matter. Whatever the fuck her name is, Emily Stringer's younger sister. She was the one who was upset. And Emily Martin's younger sister. They were the one who thought it was an invasion of Mrs. Burke's privacy. They were the ones who told on her, and everybody else corroborated, including Brianna Nicole Reagan, who sold me out.
She's the one who originally sold you out?
No, not originally, but she,
She provided witness.
Yeah,
damning witness testimony.
Absolutely. And I remember being...
We'll have to bring that up to
I
her if we
remember
see her
feeling
Saturday.
truly personally betrayed, just because at that point she had been helping me with the anxiety of it's going to be okay, but meanwhile she was ratting me out,
Well, only a precursor to problems that would come.
She had to know. I mean, she had to do what she had to do.
No, she didn't.
No, you're right.
I don't think she had to
You're
rat.
right. You're right. But look, they called her. They one by one that day. They called people into the
I like
office.
to think that if I knew about it, I lied to the end.
Right.
At least say I don't know.
You're like, I don't know.
I've heard what people are saying. It's hard to tell.
Right. I think it was a lot of conjecture.
Cast list.
I think it was a lot of conjecture. I think a lot of people, they were like, yeah, I heard Zach Roberts did it. And it's like, he's like, look at all these testimonies. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, because only one other person was there, right? Annie Fowler?
No, there were all kinds of people in the room.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. There were all kinds of people in the room. The Sopranos were in there. The Sopranos were in there doing their sectional rehearsal. And they were looking through the documents trying to find it because they thought it was already printed out, this cast list that was supposed to be printed first thing in the morning. But I knew it was still on her flash drive, so I'm like...
So would it have been that much of an issue if you found it on the computer?
I don't know.
Because you're still going through her computer.
Right. Which I would do every day anyway.
What, look at her history?
Her history, read her email. Yeah. When I would do that, 6th period, I had study hall 6th period, and I would go in and, just be her assistant.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would actually have to do stuff. Hardly ever. Most of the time, I would just sit up in her office on her computer.
While she was doing stuff?
While she was teaching, yeah. And I would just, listen to music or watch videos on YouTube or read her emails,
Yeah.
Just be like, Sarah won't be at the choir concert?
Is that it?
Oh, it would be all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's where
Did
I learned
Did the teachers email each other?
Sometimes, yeah. Not many people emailed Mrs. Burks, though, because, she didn't really, vocal music doesn't really overlap. I mean, it makes sense when, all the science teachers email each other, but maybe the band teacher might have emailed her.
Yeah.
What can you do? May her career at Northwestern rest in peace. MOATAIF
They
Honors.
got rid of her.
MOATAIF Honors, Vicky Perks as Northwestern's choir director.
Before we forget, with all the honors today, you reminded me a few days ago we forgot to honor the late and great Pee Wee Herman.
Paul Rubens, everybody, rest in peace. MOATAIF Honors.
Oh!
What a MOATAIF Honors-fest. I gotta say, I love Pee Wee's Big Adventure. One of the greatest.
Watched it a long time ago. I was a young boy.
Great movie. Great little movie. I tried to show it to Taylor, not when he was dead. Just wasn't her thing. She didn't get it.
I don't know how many people's things it would be if you didn't grow up with it.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. She just didn't really get it, and I'm like, this is like high art.
Like, imagine watching like something like Mr. Bean today. You think you would get it?
Yeah.
You think so?
I would get Mr. Bean. I mean, I got Mr. Bean when I saw him. Would I think it's like drop dead hilarious? I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I would certainly still get it.
Well, yeah. Sometimes Abigail shows me these movies that, like, you know, I'm like, this was just made for whoever was alive during this period
Right.
and who saw it, because I did not see this, and it's not for me.
It is not for me.
It wasn't made for me. For the person I am right now.
Right. I would have to transition.
Not even. Like, I just wasn't a child when this
Right.
came out. Now, would I still watch Pokemon the first movie? Absolutely.
For
It's an incredible movie. I don't care who you are. You don't even have to be a fan of Pokemon. It's amazing.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Well, folks, an interview, and a MOATAIF Honors-fest. What can you ask? What more can you ask for? And the creation of some AI voices.
Yeah.
Those are sure to make an appearance again, I'm sure.
Yep, we have them trained now. They can do anything.
Right.
They could run the whole show if we wanted.
Do a whole AI episode. That'd be so wild.
Even the gravy.
Right. We'd have to just make our own AI voices of ourselves.
Yeah, we just have to take like almost like a texting conversation.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, it could work. It could work. Maybe in an experimental MOATAIF mini.
yeah, right,
like
right.
as part of a full MOATAIF. But until then, folks, stay out.
Don't tell me it's done!